obviously we are missing a ton of people because of the snow in Dallas. So
the coffee.
I know. No. Him, Swaver, Black Seal, Garrett, ton of people. Wish them all the best. Hope they're safe. Tough times in the South.
Knocking on wood right now. Everybody stays safe, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. But still got some people together, so I'm really appreciative for Mike jumping on last minute.
The bottom of the barrel is what I feel like. It's okay. It's fun. Just scraping along. You free? You got come on, get in here.
You like the extra fries in the bag? Like when you get fries, and it's like bag fries. Those are the best fries, though. Feel good about it, Mike.
I go with more like when they throw an extra chicken nugget in there. You know what I'm saying? And you just kind of like, oh shit, it was supposed to be 6 and 7. I like that better. You know what I'm saying?
But we're here to talk about like resell versus retail. I know the past 2 weeks, like I think like Ricco and I had like a crazy discussion or started talking about the Todd Snyder release last week, which I think kind of flew under the radar compared to the trophy room release, which everyone was sort of angry about. Like they expected they were going to get a pair of trophy.
Just a mess. Just a mess.
So it's been like a, I guess, a crazy sort of 2 weeks of like releases that, I mean, I feel like one release was one that people didn't think was a big deal, and then day of when it sold out and just sort of the manner of the release, people were like kind of upset and surprised. And then the other people were upset and surprised, even though you kind of knew what it was way ahead of time. But I had a couple of conversations, like I said, one with Ricco, one with a few other people, just about like retail versus resell, and like, what are you willing to pay? Why are you willing to pay it? Let's start with trophy room, right? Because that's like the hot button. That's the clickbaity topic, right? I could care less. I didn't think I was gonna get a pair. I never wanted a pair, really. Like I had just saw it. Oh, that's cool. Put it out of my mind. I didn't even try. So it's not even like something that I'm disappointed about, right? So, but people are really mad at Marcus Jordan. Complex actually put out an article today explaining that, oh, what happened to him happens to everyone in every major release, and people shouldn't be mad at him. Sort of. It seemed like it was kind of defending him. So, I don't know. What are your thoughts on
first of all, people being mad in the sneaker game is like synonymous with like life as a sneakerhead. We're always mad. Sneakers and being angry are like, they go hand in hand. If you don't get it one way, there's just always anger either which way you look at it. But let's be honest, that shoe was never gonna. There was a 10% chance any of us would touch it. The fact that there were so many pairs available, I won't say whether I believe they're fake or not. But like at this point, I don't trust a single pair that was out there. Really, it's hard for me to sit back and just be like, I can't pay the price that's out there. You know, what's the shoe going for right now? $2,000, $3,000 for that sneaker, right? $4,000. Wow. Yeah, I can't justify that price just based on the fact that there were so many pairs that were supposed to be back for or are fake. Like it's too much money for me to even fathom the thought of the possibility of getting scammed and getting a fake. Especially because fakes are really good these days. Trash.
So what do you guys know or heard or have heard about the backdoor situation at Trophy Room? Because I mean, I thought I heard from like a pretty good source that they backdoored close to 5,000 pairs. The way to get to the back door, this is all hearsay. The way to get to the back door was $1.2 million for 1,000 pairs of shoes. No accurate size runs, no accurate amount. Well, it would be an accurate amount, but they would give you a limited amount of full size runs, and everything else was kind of like a hodgepodge of whatever boxes you were able to get. So the fake thing, I think, was something to throw everybody off of the trail of the actual pairs that were being backdoored. And then 2 days before the release, there was this big blue lace situation where it was like, oh, if your pairs don't have the blue laces, they're fake. Meanwhile, all those pairs came directly from one particular place, or I'd say probably about 80% of those pairs came from one place, and it's a very legitimate place. And then those people who got those pairs supposedly were shipped the blue laces and now all have blue laces.
What about the box? You know, some of these boxes having the 170 as opposed to the 190. You know, what I'm saying? See, this is the thing about that shoe. There's so many little left and rights on it that it's so hard to. It's just a mess.
As far as the different box prices, I did see a video that this pretty prominent reseller did, where he kind of broke down like the only real difference. He said that both 170 and 190 price tags are authentic. It's just that the ones that were 170 had started were in development, or they were in, you know, whatever. They were being made at the time, getting ready to release, and then the pandemic hit. So they have the tags on the inside have two different dates of production, but that they're both authentic, that they both came from Nike, Jordan, whatever factories.
Sure.
So that's the only real difference. I mean, but it's like you said, James. I mean, we're gonna spend $3,500. There's a very, very good chance we're not gonna get an authentic pair,
right,
because of
we are not paying shit.
Not. Oh no, absolutely. I mean, generally speaking, like for anyone who's going to try to, I mean, the odds of getting an authentic pair, like you'll never really know. I guess is what I was trying to say.
Right. The risk isn't worth the reward. I mean, the shoe is cool, but not enough for me to risk that much money on, and just to take probably the biggest L ever.
Sure,
it's gonna happen, and it's not. To me, the shoe's not worth it. To it, it would have been nice to get the shoe for retail. I would have been like, I tried to try, if you will. Like I tried to enter the raffle, and as soon as it became this whole thing, I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna try for the Todd Snyders instead. Womp womp womp.
I was gonna say the email that you got from Jordan Brand or from Trophy Room about them being overstocked, or you can't sign up because they were at capacity for an email raffle is absurd. Like
absolutely.
I felt that was like a big slap in the face if that's how you were going to handle that type of release. It was such a special shoe, and I feel like this all the time. If you're the store with the collaboration and the marketing behind it, to have such a lackluster approach to your customers is just, it's disrespectful. I think personally, and at that point I was already over it prior to when I heard the backdoor rumors. But then when I saw that, I was like, who even cares? Like, for lack of a better, F both of them. F the store, F this release. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just as so like that's a good sort of segue just to sort of talk about like the Todd Snyder situation, right? Because Todd Snyder was sort of like, it wasn't this widely marketed shoe. Like there wasn't like, hey, I'm going to tell you this crazy story. We saw the first picture of it on Saturday. It's releasing Tuesday. I didn't really, I don't know. Like I like Todd Snyder. I always try to get his collaborations if he does one. But I didn't think it was a big deal. I didn't know that people were like thinking, about chasing it. And then it set, like the last two collaborations sat, there wasn't really any crazy hype behind it. And then morning of, I got an email, 15, 20 minutes before release. Hey, early access. I click on it, 404, page not found. So I'm like, really? Like, this is what we're doing? Kept clicking it, stopped, walked away, came back, clicked it a couple more times. It hit 11, it refreshed, sold out, right? But then, there was a totally different reaction from Todd Snyder than there was from like Trophy Room. Like Trophy Room was legit backdoored. It was legit like the store owner giving out pairs or selling pairs for, a ridiculous markup to people that he knew or resellers or whatever. Todd Snyder just sort of got overwhelmed and didn't really expect that was going to happen. And to be honest, I don't think anybody else did either. And so Todd Snyder came out with the apology. We're going to do better. And this is where Ricco and I sort of
Oh man,
verge off, because I feel like that was a good, like, I was like, all right, well, he acknowledged that there was a problem. He acknowledged that he wasn't prepared. He acknowledged that, like, he has to do something better in the future, right? And so, like, that acknowledgement means more than, like, the Marcus Jordan, hey, I didn't backdoor, everything is fine, you guys shouldn't be mad about this release, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and so, sure, I think we need to expect that Todd Snyder is going to do something more in the future. But I think the expectation of stuff to just be available and him not to be prepared, or him to be prepared for bots or for resellers or whatever it was that sort of snagged all the pairs ahead of time based on prior releases, I don't know if that's a fair assessment, and that him coming out with an apology wasn't good enough, because I saw he got a lot of hate for coming out and apologizing and saying it wasn't good enough.
It wasn't needed. Like, I didn't care. Like, you apologizing, like, I don't care. Like, if you're gonna do something about it, then do something about it. I just felt like the apology was just like, you're a collaborator, right? With New Balance, which the 992 was the biggest silhouette of last year. People like your collaborations a lot. So you're really going to sit there and say that you're not prepared to put out the biggest New Balance silhouette maybe in the last couple of years, or a return of the biggest silhouette in the last couple of years in a collaboration form. Like, why? Like, why were you not prepared? Like, how are you someone who does streetwear, who does sneaker collaborations, yet your site was somehow not prepared for bots? Like, that whole thing to me just does not make any sense. Like, you have to know that people are literally just going to try and buy everything to resell it. So just the apology, it didn't mean much to me. I'm less angry now than I was like the day that I saw it. I'm just like, I just didn't care, I think, is more of where I'm at than being angry at it. Like, if you're going to do something for all the people who are your fans and who have bought your collaborations in the past that had difficulty with this release, then do the thing. If you're not prepared for that yet, I don't see what releasing an apology statement does, other than kind of exposing yourself like, well, I wasn't prepared to put out a collaboration with myself and one of the biggest New Balance silhouettes in all of 2020. Like, it just, I don't know. I didn't care for it. I didn't think it was needed.
So it's funny because I was actually talking with Swaver about this, who was supposed to be on, when it happened. Like, when I took the L, I was, all right, I got it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was ready. I was prepared. It was fine. It's no big deal. When the email came out and I saw it, it left this horrible taste in my mouth. So I'm on the same boat with Ricco. It's more like, don't be sorry, ho. Be ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, either don't send out the email. I'm happy. I'm fine taking the L that it is. But saying I wasn't ready, I wasn't prepared, it shows that almost slap in the face, like you were saying about Marcus, to your consumers. You're like, well, I didn't know that they were going to try to resell. What are you talking? What do you mean you didn't know? Everybody was going to go for everything. Everybody goes for everything. The wackest shoes on the planet sell out. We're talking about a collaboration with Todd Snyder, which is it's a good shoe. It was nice. So the fact they didn't, that we all know that shoe was going to get botted. It was going to get botted. It was going to get botted. It was a Todd Snyder collaboration all day. You know it, Mike. I'm looking right at you.
Are you fucking insane?
Yeah.
Are you insane?
No, it was going to get botted. And it did. But if I'm wrong, but it happened, right?
The shoe wasn't even that fucking good. That's first and foremost.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. No, you're absolutely right. I don't think the shoe was great. I thought the shoe was okay. But I knew from the second, like, I never went into it being like, oh, I'm going to get this shoe. It's going to be easy. I knew that shoe was going to get sold.
I'm pointing at Dave right now because I think we're on the same page here.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody in their mother thought that shoe was going to sell it. I saw what model it was, and I was like, they'll be there. In my heart of hearts, I bought a lot of their NB1s. Any shoe that you bought from Todd was an NB1, and I bought them anyway. I didn't care. I liked them, and they sat. To be fair, so seeing this shoe coming from someone who may be in streetwear, but isn't privy. Like I work with stores, they're not privy to online. They're not privy to like what's going to happen if you put a mid online. That's why I don't let them put them online. I'm like, don't do that. Put them on the shelf because you're just going to get them, and one dude's going to buy them all. You have to return the money. If you're not privy to that kind of knowledge, whether you're in streetwear or not, you're just a small store that has a nice little collaboration here or there. It sits on the shelf most of the time. The colorway didn't get that much buzz. We posted on a Sunday. We put it. What the fuck happened? Why is our shit crashing? You guys are thinking about the inverse to that.
No, I totally get that. But the way I'm looking at it is the state of how everything is in sneakers currently. The wackest shit sells out anyway. You know, there are things that sell. There are things that just don't make any sense that we probably don't think is that great, but people buy them because they have a collaboration. And as Ricco said, the 992 was a heavy hitter last year. And now you attach a name that's even known, Dan Snyder. So people want it. So I knew that they were going to try for it. Even resellers that I knew in Dallas, they had told me, they're like, well, we're going to, we're taking list names. We want, if you need sizes, pre-orders, da. So I was aware that people were going to try to buy this shoe. So I knew that it was going to come down to it. But for me, it wasn't so much that happened. It was I felt the email was completely unnecessary because it was like, okay. It wasn't like, I probably would, just because I knew that it was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So it was more like, if you really, that's where I get it a little misconstrued because I expect people, I expect brands that collaborate now to know that it's coming because it always happens. I mean, 90% of the times when we have a collaboration with a hype brand and New Balance is hype, it goes bonkers.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't expect it because, like I said, the last collaboration he did, December with New Balance.
Right.
I bought my pair 3 days in.
Right.
I waited because I was like, I don't know. And then I went and I bought it 3 days in. And I'm like a person that like buys Todd Snyder. Like I'm not heavy, but I buy, a couple pieces every year. And so when this release happened, and I think about Todd Snyder and like Mike said, I don't think he's in this streetwear space the way like someone like Kith is. Like he's not in that like that. And so, their customer service is a different level too. Like they will email you or they will call you and say, hey, do you want to come in and try this on? Do you want to come look at this? Hey, we saw you wearing this shirt. And they'll have individual people reach out to you. So it's a very different level of customer service than you're going to get with like a kit. So when they send an email, it's because they're really like our hardcore fans are like really, really feeling some type of way. We really want to show that one-on-one level or that level of understanding and appreciation that is associated with our brand. So I felt like, okay, they understand what's going on. They see that people feel a certain way. They are acknowledging their consumers and they know what their consumers want, which I guess or what I felt like I wanted. And so I wasn't turned off by it. I was really appreciative because you never get a thank. You never get a, I'm sorry. You never get a, oh, this is
right.
You know what I mean?
But for me, it's not even so much
a big deal.
Totally. And it's not so much that I was turned off because it was like, for me, it's like, if you're going to send something like that, I'm just kind of, I would want to see more. If you're going to send something and say, hey, I got botted, it hit me hard. What I'm going to do is this, and this, and do something about it, as opposed to, sorry, we'll do it on the next one. You know what I'm saying? Because then it's like you're reopening a wound. Like I took an L, all right, that sucks. Now you have to remind me, I was right. I got beat out by a bunch of bots, and all you're telling me is sorry. So I'm like, forget it. Just don't even say anything. If you're going to post a statement about what happened, don't apologize and act as if something's going to happen with it instead of I'm going to do it next time. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't so much what happened, how it happened. It was the email itself, because I understand that Todd Snyder's, the brand is very different. They're going to call you and ask you to come try on the t-shirt. But we're talking about shoes, and shoes are a dog-eat-dog world. So, people go for it. You know what I'm saying? It's a completely different subculture within that same brand. So if you're going to drop something like that, and it was going to happen, fine, cool, I'm good with it. To send the email saying, I'm sorry that it happened, instead of what I'm going to do. Like, I guess the immediate responses for me would be, then cancel the bots, like Supreme would do. If they catch it, they cancel the order, and then they redrop them on the site and just let it go. Let it be a free-for-all. If anything, but just say, I got bought it, I'm going to give it to them because one guy in Milwaukee bought every single pair of these, You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to send them to him because he did get them, as opposed to I'm going to cancel the orders that we figured out were bots or multiples that weren't done legitimately. And I'll give my fans who I sent emails to, like you, that didn't get it, you know, show me what you're going to do to fix the issue that you have a problem with that led you to send the email out, as opposed to saying I'm sorry. Because the I'm sorry is nothing.
Okay. You're under the assumption that you know who every bot is. As I'm playing devil's advocate here. So like, how does he know who the person is a bot? What if he calls you a bot and you hit a pair and he goes, "Oh, I don't recognize it." So like to say
That's
that
what
you have
Union
to take
did.
it away. So to say that you have to take the pairs away from somebody, I think is kind of like a miss. And I think from their perspective, as the type of store that they are, like Dave is trying to say, to send that apology wasn't to open a wound. It was a genuine attempt to be like, yo, guys, I didn't even understand what the hype was behind our shoe. We just thought that it was going to be okay and it was good to go. Like, I don't want to turn around and then go, if you see, listen, it happens here. Somebody will buy 6 pairs of shoes. I go, dub it. That's all. Not a big deal. But if you don't come across that, so it's a tricky situation. So like, if I don't come across 10 people buying one shoe, but I come across one guy who got 2 shoes, but like they were trying to buy so fast that they hit 2.
Absolutely.
9 dub them on that too. So I think them saying like, listen, we apologize. Fuck Marcus Jordan. Fuck him. I don't care about him. But like Todd Snyder, I feel like isn't someone that was trying to fuck with anybody. They were genuinely apologetic about it. And to be like, it's fucked up that they apologize. Just let me have my L. I think it's like if someone does you wrong and they don't apologize to you, you just wait for them to do the right thing again down the road.
No, but at the same time, like other brands have been able to figure out how it happened or what, you know what I'm saying?
And
I understand that they can't fix it.
But
that's my thing. Like if you can't solve the problem and you can't go back and okay, this guy did get 2 pairs, but as you said, in a rush or in a mad dash to try to get the shoe, like you can't fix it, fine. Then it is what it is. Let it be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Say shit. But
just let it be. Let it be what it is.
How much Snyder do you buy? How much
not much.
Okay, so then your opinion doesn't matter to me.
Not much.
Just Dave, your opinion matters to me because you buy the shit. Like I don't, honestly, not to be a dick, but like you don't even buy it that much to be like one of those people that like would care. Like you probably don't give a shit and you don't. But Dave, a person who buys more Todd Snyder, even me, like I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I just tried. I didn't even give a shit. I was like, I'll see how it goes. But like Dave is someone who buys and he appreciated the email. So I feel like maybe because of your feeling towards shoes, like you buy a lot more shoes than I think a lot of people on the panel. So like you're circling through it a little bit faster, so you have a different feeling about that L. It's like, damn, I'm like, what the fuck, bro? What's going on right now? I fuck this place. Next, what's Jordan? What? Fuck that place too. And then you got an email like, sorry, you lost. Like, fuck you, buddy. Like, I can understand where you're coming from, but like someone who was like just sitting there, sipping his coffee, like, oh damn, I didn't get the shoe. What happened? Oh, okay. Oh, they'll fix it next time. Cool. Like there's 2 different reactions to what happened. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm a little bit of the both, right? So I do buy a lot of shoes. I mean, that's obvious. But like I wasn't upset that I got it now. I kind of just was like, whatever, I got it. No big deal. It wasn't, the shoe was cool and I would like to have it, but wasn't one that I was like itching for and I needed to have. But when I got like the L just seemed, I guess the email itself just felt disingenuous to me because it didn't really say anything. You know what I mean? To me, it didn't resonate in any way. But again, I don't buy Todd Snyder that way. So I don't know. It didn't affect me in a way where it was like, hey guys, I need to fix this problem for you. For me, it was more like I bought it. I wasn't prepared. And to me, it made it seem like he wasn't ready for this type of release. And it wasn't a mega release. So I expected him to be able to handle this better. I mean, is that appropriate?
Yeah, no, I get that. I feel like a lot of people had that same sentiment. And the thing that I was thinking was like, Todd Snyder isn't like based on his New Balance collaboration sales, right? Like based on the last couple of releases and how things haven't really like sold out in a few moments or like, immediately, how things have sat for days. The collaboration before this 992, I think they're still up there. I think there's still a few sizes you could go and buy. So like I feel like, based on that experience, I don't expect that someone like Todd Snyder is going to go and invest in bot protection for this one release. Sure. You know what I mean? And I think there was an expectation that because it's a 992, because people are into New Balance 992s this year, that like there's an investment that people should make into bot protection you know, just because they released a 992, which I don't know is a fair assessment, because I think,
Right.
you know, I think yes, he did get kind of taken, you know, but at the same time, like, how could he have addressed his infrastructure to his online releases without being something that goes against that is, you know, really cost prohibitive and goes against like who he is as a brand, right? Or goes against what he normally does. And, you know, people I think are usually used to shopping on his website and like leisurely going through and purchasing things and not having to worry about rushing and, you know, rushing to get to the cart before things sell out, like, you know. But given the timeline of things release of, you know, him announcing on Saturday, it being, you know, sort of a little bit widely posted on Sunday, and then Monday, you know, it being sort of him finding out, oh crap, you know, this thing might be a little bit bigger than we expected. And then Tuesday, he's supposed to have bot protection by then. Like, it's like a 4-day turnaround that he's supposed to like really like have built this massive infrastructure for a shoe he's selling 600 pairs of and doesn't really have, you know, and isn't really making a profit on, really, you know, because if you think about the way collaborations go, they're not, you know, they're not there to make money for him.
Right.
And he's not usually going to make any money. So him investing what 150 grand or something in like Shopify bot protection or something is not really like something that I could see being worthwhile for him, unless he plans.
It feels like it just doesn't feel like it was a good look. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't a good look, just because it's like you said, it's not about money. He's not making any money, but it is his brand exposure, and this is how he runs the site. And for guys like me who don't necessarily shop at Todd Snyder regularly, like, it leaves a taste in my mouth. It's just a little weird, because it's like, but you were doing, I guess it's because I'm a part of the other world, which would be the shoe element of it, that when I see something like that, like if you get another release, it's just going to be another, like, it'll leave that taste in my mouth where this could happen again. It's probably going to happen again. So I just kind of, for me, it would have been just simple, just to let it be. You know what I'm saying?
Go. Yeah, I buy a lot of Eric Emanuel, and I buy quite a bit of Kith. I mean, if Ronnie wants to send me an email apologizing, or Eric Emanuel wants to send me an email apologizing because his thing sold out, I'm still going to be fucking annoyed about it. I'm still going to be like, fam, I don't care. Like, what are you doing? Are you going to give me a coupon code for, no, you're not? Cool. That was a waste. That's how I feel about it.
Fucking coupon code.
Ricco got annoyed and mad. I'm just more like, don't even say it.
Well, I got really mad when it happened. I was super annoyed when it happened, but now I'm just kind of like, it's dumb.
I also think that Todd Snyder's a big brand. Like, they're not gonna send you a coupon code, right? Like,
right.
He's not that brand. Like, they're not gonna turn around and be like, hey, here's 20% off. Hey, here's 15% off. Like, I think that because of the way they are, because of the brand ethos, like, I feel like, you know, they're gonna think through it, not turn around some cheesy thing in 12 hours, right? And like, if that means, hey, we're gonna go to New Balance and get them to make us 600 more pairs, that is something that he's gonna do, but it's not gonna happen in 12 hours. Like, he's gonna make it happen in, like, you know, a few weeks. But that's not an answer that he can get you right that second or right that day.
Right. But that's another part of what you and I were talking about, Dave. Like, when you're ready for that thing to happen, I feel like that's when you should go back and be like, hey, look, we saw what happened. It was, you know, we weren't prepared for it. We apologize. Here's another chance of this thing. Like, here's your exclusive access, I guess, to this shoe if you want it. You don't want it, you don't have to use the access code. You don't have to get anything. But here it is for you. You know, you've bought with us in the past. I know you're a Temple a lot. But, like, you know, at least when you have the thing prepared, when you have the thing ready, I guess you can go back and open that wound. Like, hey, remember when the bots took all these fucking pairs? Well, here you go. Here's your chance because I worked it out, you know?
Yeah. No, I get that.
Which I know is, I mean, it seems like a lot to ask of a brand, but like, if that's the kind of brand Todd Snyder wants to be, then I think that's more of the approach than just being like, hey, we're sorry. Okay, wait, I'm still counting my money from the bots. Hang on. Yeah, our bad. We'll do better next time. 20, 30, 40,000. Cool, sick. Great. Thanks, guys.
I
I
mean,
don't know if it's that simple. I mean, part of me was a little bit salty because I was like, oh, well, you know, he got his money after having the last 3 releases sit. Like, how am I gonna be mad at him now? Like people gonna be mad at him when they let stuff sit, but now he made his money off a bot and he's supposed to refund it so he can make them happy. I was kind of
No. I don't mean
let him
refund
win.
it. I just mean
win. Like, you know what I mean? But no, I feel like I don't know. It didn't bother me. I thought it was a good look. You know, I always feel like, you know, if you had a bad taste in your mouth, the sooner somebody addresses that, like, you know, the better you're gonna feel in the long run about that brand or want to come back, even if there's not like a resolution right away or a resolution to your satisfaction. I mean, I think if we've become so jaded because we are taking L's on other things and we just kind of move on that like we have this like feeling of like, oh well, you know, I took this L, I'm just gonna walk off and like F them, like they didn't do anything for me, or F them, they didn't have bot protection, or F them, the resellers got all of these. And then, you know, we aren't really attached to the shoe. Like we aren't really expecting a shoe and to mean anything for us. And that's kind of the problem too, right? Is like, hey, well, I don't really care about this release. That's why it's easy for me to move on. So if I'm thinking about it more, then that makes me more attached to it, right? And so that's a problem, I guess, you know. But that's a personal issue, right?
I mean, ultimately, his it worked for him because the people who are loyal to his brand and care for him, or that do fuck with Todd, with the brand, were okay with it. But guys, you know, like Ricco, who just wanted the shoes and could care less about that, it was just an empty gesture, if you will.
And so this brings me to another point about the Todd Snyder release. So it was really pricey.
Oh, and what's funny about that is retail was $270. The last pair of my size on StockX sold for $290. So whoever bought it up and sold it just lost $20. Like, good job.
But that's the thing. Like, I never looked at it like a shoe that was gonna be like, I knew that people were gonna go after it to try to resell it, but I never understood why. I was like, I don't like. It'll be cool to get this shoe for retail, but I'm not gonna pay an extra cent over that. I wasn't sure I wanted to pay the $270.
A penny more.
Not a penny more. You know what I'm saying? So like, if they got it, cool. Like, it would be nice to have, but I wasn't gonna stress over not getting it because it wasn't that great. So like when I found out that people were going to be buying the shoe super hard, I'm like, okay, good luck. Okay. I guess.
Yeah.
And that's
get your negative $20.
And I think that's kind of like the rub with New Balance. There's hardcore New Balance guys, but we're not paying that resale. Like I love some of the stuff that dropped, but I'm not gonna pay resale for it. Like period. Like retail or nothing. And so like the Todd Snyder shoe, yeah, like it was pretty pricey up front. So like that is it for a bot or for a reseller, that is an expensive lesson to learn about like judging the market, right? Because like yes, 992s, they're hot, like you can go buy them and probably flip like everything. Todd Snyder, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean?
I never thought there was going to be reselling that shit. Ever.
As hot as 992s are. As hot as 992s are, like it's not a flip. It's not a flip like that, you know? So like I think people don't understand. And I feel like this is where resale is gonna really sort of hit the skids, is like seeing like certain shoes, like Asics shoes, seeing New Balances, some of them are just really going to start hitting the skids in terms of like, oh, you bought that for this price? Yeah. The people that are into this shoe, that like this shoe, aren't going to pay resale for that. That is a brick for you.
Right.
Like, you need to understand that, like, you need to stay. And like New Balance, I think because the Jound was hot, because ALD stuff is hot. Like, I think that sort of trickled down to a few other releases that they've had. But I think in large part, like, New Balance isn't going to be that going forward. I think there's just going to be too many collaborative releases for them all to be hot. And
Right.
so, there's going to be a point where, and maybe this Todd Snyder shoe was that point where resale hits the skids and like people just buy up everything, and now it's sitting as a brick, and they're going to have to eat that.
I mean, the only New Balance recently that resell has just gone absolutely fucking bonkers is the Saleh Bembury, the 2002. That shoe, fam, my size is $579 now.
Yeah.
And it sat at $300 forever. Like,
that shoe should have never been that price. Should have never been that price ever.
Should have never been like $580.
It should have that shoe. Honestly, that shoe should have never resold. Should have never resold.
Mm-hmm.
In an ideal world, that shoe was not made to be a reseller's price point. Like that should have been a shoe that you just, oh, there it is. I got it. I'll take it.
Right.
See you guys later. Like, why is that even like a thing?
I wish I
Marketing.
knew. I had no idea.
They marketed the hell out of it. They sold us him as opposed. Wasn't really, people weren't even really necessarily buying the shoe. That it could have been a standard 992 and then just called it, his, and people would have gone crazy because their marketing on that shoe was so heavy, pushing it on who he is, what he's done, how he's come up in this game, who he's worked with, from Kanye to Versace. So it was about that, and people wanting to be a part of that being a part of that. And so you were buying a piece of him, not necessarily a piece of the shoe. But you're right. Like, the shoe's dope. I would have loved to have it, but I'm not gonna pay for it. Not extra. The last New Balance I paid an extra $50 for was the Joe Fresh goods, and since then, like, it's retail or not. You know what I mean? And that's it. And I got caught up in the game in that one, but I actually really like that shoe.
I mean, 50 above retail for the Joe Fresh is, like, I think a reasonable.
No, I wasn't mad at it, but like,
yeah,
I wasn't the biggest New Balance guy in the beginning. Yeah, facts.
I think this brings me to like the other bigger point that I wanted to talk about, which is like, where are you personally in terms of paying resale? I know a few years ago, like I would pay resale for like everything. Like if I didn't get it, like I've had someone that, would get it for me and charge me $50, $50 over. And like, I was fine with it. But then I hit a point where I was like, nope. Like, I bought a collaboration from Nike, an Air Jordan 1 collaboration, and it was like, it was just too much money. It was like way too much money for what I paid. And then I just watched the price drop the week after, and it was down $100 2 weeks after, and I was pissed. And then I love the shoe, I like it, but never again. I was like, this is my 911. Never forget. Like, we're not going back. Like, you know what I mean?
911.
Damn.
Like,
Yikes.
that's how impactful it was for me, because I was like, I can't do the resale. And like, my mentality has been this: if I participate in it, then I help perpetuate it, right? I don't judge anybody else for doing it, but I feel like I can't be mad when something goes up for resale if I'm participating in the resale market. And so if someone else wants to be mad at the resale market but also participate in it, I feel like that's hypocritical. And so like, I'm like, that's on you. You could do what you want, but like, I wanted to get a sense of how you guys feel about like resale. I know there are certain things that like, I'm like, maybe I'll think about,
Well, in what sense? Like as purchasing, reselling, or like bu- selling, reselling? Like how are you referring to this like resale thing? Because I feel like at some point when you really want something, like I never thought I'd pay resale for a shoe until Off-White Jordan 1s came out, the first one. And I was like, I don't care what it is, I'm buying them. I don't care. And like, I mean, I was able to get them when they released again, but when they first dropped, I paid what I had to pay to get them and the Prestos. I was like, I'm getting both of these shoes. If it costs me an arm and a leg, it's going to be whatever. But like, there's levels to it. I'm not going to do that for Todd Snyder. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do it for, I mean, even Union ones. I was like, well, maybe I'll spend the money for Union ones. And, it never happened because like the price just kept going up. And I was like, I don't see that as a necessity in the sneaker world. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think it's worth it because another shoe's going to come out, like the Jordan 1 Trophy Room. If you were going to do a pre-order for $1,300 and you want to spend that kind of money, that's a shoe you can invest in. Sure. But if you like it enough, I'm sure there'll be another Jordan 1 in 6 months that's also equally as covetable. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's always more. It's never like, oh, this is the last shoe they're ever going to make ever. I got to buy it. Who cares? Like, fuck it. Like,
I mean, I think so I guess 3 points like to address what you said. Like, so I would never buy anything that I don't personally intend to wear that I would think I'm going to resell this or I'm buying it strictly for resale. I would never buy anything strictly because of the value or the perceived value because of resale. So I'm not going to be like, oh, this thing is, it's $600. I'm going to buy it to hold it because I know that the price is going to go up. Like I don't buy into that philosophy. Like if I like a shoe, I like a shoe. It doesn't matter if it's $60 versus, $300. Like I'm just buying the shoe or the retail.
You buy
shoe.
what you like.
Yeah,
you buy
exactly.
what you like. But sometimes what you like has a good value. Sometimes. And that doesn't mean that you're the person that buys for that reason, but like it's like buying a Todd Snyder. Like I buy a lot of them. I didn't buy this one because there was hype behind it. I didn't like it, so I didn't buy it. Like it's the same thing. Like you might like Saucony LOM, Life on Mars. Great shoe, fire shoe. Came out, a little bit of hype, not too crazy. I waited till it dipped in the market and then I bought the other color. Perfectly fine. It's up again. Who knew? Like that's not why we buy shoes, I think, in this collective group of people. I think we buy shoes because we like shoes. And sometimes those shoes become very covetable. That's not your fault, and that's not a driving force for you. But in the other end of that spectrum, there are a ton of people whose sole objective is to buy a shoe. Oh, it's fire, I need it. And then they get it, they never wear it. Because in the back of their mind, somewhere creeping around here, knocking on they're like, you might be able to make more money on these. And they don't wear their shoes. And you go, how come you don't wear those shoes? Nothing real. I didn't really have a fit. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. It's worth $1,000. You want to buy it?
I mean, as far as the way I look at resale, I mean, fuck, we've been doing this so long. Resale, it's here. It's not going anywhere. It's part of the game now. And it's, I mean, at least I guess there's different generations that look at, buying shoes. I think everybody in this group wears shoes because they like shoes. They want to rock shoes. I don't think anybody's first intention is to buy a shoe to resell and to make a profit of it. I don't see that. I think everybody goes after the shoes that they want because of the joy that you get from having that shoe. But there's an entire group of people who could care less about what shoe you have on, unless it's to what price point can it reach. So it's all money driven. You know what I'm saying? And then you've got other guys who they just saw somebody wearing it and they're like, fuck, I need it too. So I'm going to try, even though they've never been in the shoes, and I'm going to try for the Union 1. And that's probably the guy who beats me on Sneakers app. You know what I'm saying? So I don't fault resell anymore. I mean, we came from a time when shoes weren't all that crazy, and we've watched it become this monster that it is now. So, I mean, when I see it now, to me, it's just a part of the game now. It's part of the whole thing. It's a rat race to get the pair that we want. And if I can't get it at retail, it's hard for me to pay resell unless, like Mike said, like it's a shoe that I know I need to have. You know what I'm saying? Like when the Unions dropped, Union 1s, I knew that the black pair was the one I wanted more than the blue. And I got the blue for retail, and I was like, fuck, but do I want to pay for the black pair? I need to have it. I want to have it. I have to have it. In the midst of that chaos, I hit on the Frenzy app, so I didn't have to go any further. So I was able to get them both at retail. But had that not happened, I probably would have, right? I don't know. But when if I wouldn't have hit, I would have paid the price because I really wanted that shoe. It's going to happen again for me. For as much as I don't want to pay resale, and I know I hate it. But the moment that shoe pops up that I am going to have, that it's either be salty, be mad, or pull the trigger right away and hope to God that it doesn't go back down in price. And I feel like you did, Dave, or or run the risk of not buying it and watching it skyrocket, and then I'm fucked out of it. So it's a shitty situation that's not going anywhere.
Nope.
Yeah, there's no solution for it. I mean, as far as my resell to retail habits, I generally end up paying resale, but for like older stuff, like that I knew I always wanted, like Saturday specials. To me, it's no problem for me to pay X amount for Saturday specials. Or stuff like that, or I got like Alpine guides or the ALD 997. Like I knew that those were all shoes that I wanted more than anything. Mike, to your point, you made a great point about like, oh, you got a shoe at retail and you're gonna wear it and you're gonna, but there's still that thing in the back of your mind that's creeping up, because I have like 4 or 5 pairs of Jordan 1s that I got Mocha. I was lucky enough to get Mochas for $240, and now I'm like, those things are almost $600 now. Like, am I gonna wear? Like, it sucks. I want to wear the shoe. I love the shoe, but I know, fam, it might be at $650, $700. Like, am I gonna keep it and wear it? Am I gonna? And I'm terrible at knowing which shoes are gonna go where. Like the Sakai Vapor Waffle, the blue and reds that first came out, those were sitting at like what, $320, $340, $350 for a while, and now it's $1,000. Now I'm sitting here like, fuck, I really should have bought it at $350, $400. Salem Bedberries were $280, $300 for a while. Should have got those too. Like, you never really know. But also, like, had I gotten it, would I have worn it? Would it have been something that, now I'm seeing that the price is almost $600-$700. Like, what am I going to do? It's a difficult situation for sure.
Got you, bro. Two pair.
Yeah,
that's it. That's my philosophy. Fuck it. I know that regret too much.
I only have one shoe I've ever doubled up on, and that's AirTech Challenge 2s, because White Hot Lavas, I'll buy those anytime they retro. I don't care.
Yeah,
I always need them. So, but like the thing that gets to me, and we've talked about this in the group a little bit, and I want to get your thoughts. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to derail you, Dave. No, but people who are really like when a shoe's like $450, like $500, and they're like, I don't know if I could pay for it. That's a lot of money. I don't know if I could pay $500 when I know that they bought like 2 or 3 New Balance GRs like that week. Like, there's no way you didn't have the money for it, because you went and bought all those GRs. But for some reason, it's an obscene amount of money. Like, that to me has never made any sense. Now, $1,000 plus for one shoe, that's a little more understandable. But like, $300-$400, I can never spend for it. That's so crazy. You're sitting there with 3-4 New Balances, whatever Jordan 1s that you just bought that week. Like,
yeah, but I mean, if you buy a pair of Horween at retail, you're talking $340 anyway. So like, it depends on what like your taste is. I think at that point. I'm sorry for all the noise in the background. I'm just cutting some stuff up. But like, I listen to the Sneak This podcast, and Greg is like, "Oh, I'll buy 5 pairs of Converse in one clip," and I'm like, that's still $250. So like, in my mind, I'm like, damn, you could have bought something else. But like, that's his taste. He likes the Converse. Right. He likes to wear that type of thing, and it doesn't mathematically, it doesn't make sense for him to buy 1 pair of shoes when he could buy 5 at the same, when you can buy 5 of the same. So, and same thing with me. Like, I'll buy 2 Air Maxes and be like, yeah, I'm not going to spend $340 on a Horween. I'm not going to do it. Meanwhile, I just dropped $500 on 2 Air Maxes. Like, it's just.
I've swayed Greg in that way. He bought US Open Tech Challenges and paid a grip for them. So we're working on it. I mean, it's basically, sneakers have really just become grail hunting for me. There's still maybe 5, 6, 7 shoes that I know that I absolutely need in my collection. I just bought one this week, so shout out to me. But like,
wait, what is it?
That's
Which one?
Squad Gelite 3 Foot Patrol.
Oh, okay. All right.
Needed.
Okay,
They're
I
a
see you.
half size small, so now I'm like wondering, like, is it gonna fit? But I'm gonna wear the fuck out of it. But like, see, that is what keeps me like in sneakers. That is, it's not because I mean, I take L's every week on everything. It's Skate the Great put it up. He's like, fam, whenever you take an L on shoes, like just take that money and put it in a savings account. And like I've been doing that with everything so far this year. Fam, it's dangerous how much money I could spend if I actually got everything I wanted for retail. Like it's bad. Yeah. So, I just take a chunk of that, buy the thing that I wanted 3-4 years ago, and I have no issue with that at all. But I think that's very different than me going out to store after store after store after store to stock Carmines. Like I feel like that's just whack. To me, that's just dumb.
Yeah, absolutely. If I don't hit on a retro, then it's just I don't hit, and I move on to something that I missed out on. Because I mean, fuck. There's shoes that are retroed in 2012 that I haven't even got to yet that are gonna re-retro this. You know what I'm saying? Like, It's cool. If I don't hit on the Carmines, I mean, I was lucky I did hit on them. But like let's say the cool grays that are dropping next, the cool gray 3s. If I don't hit those, fuck, I still have. You know what I'm saying? Like I had the old pair. It's cool if I don't have them again. It's not a shoe that's gonna go for $2,000. It's gonna go for $300, and if I want it later, we'll get it then. You know what I mean? Like, but I'll take that money that I took a fat L with, and I'll chase something down that I really care for. Like I really want. There are SBs that are still that I had or never had that are better than the shoes that I would wear more often than the cool gray 3s again. Even though I like the cool gray 3s, but if I'm not, if I'm going to spend $300, I'm spending on the ones that I really care to have.
Definitely. I've given up on SBs. All SBs are way too expensive. I have my favorite SB of all time, and that's good enough for me.
They're reasonable right now, I would say. They're starting to become reasonable. I was gonna say that like I understand like what you're saying, Ricco, like buying something like Squad, okay. Like to me, that's a reasonable resale purchase in some sense because you've had the time to digest and mull over like, okay, this shoe I really want, this shoe I really want. And it's been years, right? Like paying resale. So, like thinking about like the Todd Snyder and then like the trophy room ones, right? Where like that's things immediately go to $500 for me and my size, or they go to like $400 or $350 if they're not that hyped. But like after a week, like in a week, like I missed Saturday and like I'm gonna buy that Monday. Like kind of to James's point, like yeah, there's stuff that I haven't released, but I also like things that are one-offs. Like they're not making those endless Todd Snyder 997s again. Like they're not gonna re-release. You know what I mean? Like
C notes aren't gonna retro ever.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like
what was that? What'd you just say?
C notes?
C notes?
C notes aren't gonna re-release, So like
I mean, don't say never because Kennedy's did.
That's true.
I don't do that.
That's true.
I might be devastated if C notes ever. But that's like really the only New Balance that's ever really retro. Like aside from like OGs and stuff.
Well, where did the Kennedys come from?
Oh yeah, you're right.
So I mean, if they did one, maybe they do more. Like I got doubles of all that shit just in case. But like realistically,
Dion, don't retro any New Balance. Dion, don't do it.
But I feel like you get time to mull over things, right? And then that's fine. That's fine. If it's a year, if you have multiple years to sort of think about something and like be like, this is something I really, really want, right? As opposed to like, oh well, I bought this thing because I wanted it. It was really hot on Saturday, and then I missed, and so basically I wanted to get it because I didn't want to feel like I missed out. Like that. I can't get with it. Like I'm not done with
it. Like, it's dangerous. Yeah. Especially for sneakers.
And like Mike said, there's always going to be something else. There is always going to be something else. And then one of the things that, especially like this year, you know, since I've been home for like, you know, almost 12 months now, like I've been thinking like I have
Been in the house.
I have more than enough sneakers to last me for however many years that I will, you know, need to be wearing sneakers, right? So like I just like I don't know, I don't think that I'm ever I don't ever think that I'm at a loss for a sneaker, right? Like whatever the occasion is, whatever the instance is, I have a sneaker for it. And so there are very rare occasions where I'm like, oh, this would fit this fit or this style or this need that I have, but they're few and far between. And so like again, like going back to Rico's like original point, like yes, I will buy like 3 Sauconys before I spend like 350 or $400 on one shoe that like I really like that resale. And like and that's just I don't know, like for me I feel like I'm not giving somebody that money. Like I'm not going to give somebody that money because they were quicker on the draw. Like for me now, I feel like it's a personal affront for me to like spend money because somebody was quicker on the draw. Like I'm like, nah, you're gonna have to hold that. You're gonna have to hold that 13. Somebody got that. You know, you bought it. You thought you were gonna get me and make me pay you an extra $100 to get it. Nah, you're gonna hold it and I'm gonna buy these 3 Sauconys over here, and like part of me is like is like you know I can wear 3 Sauconys and be excited about you know a fresh pair 3 times rather than a fresh pair once. So like I don't know, like that's kind of my mentality, like to sort of answer Rico's question, like you know, and like doing a GR, like I would rather do that, and I don't know, it's just there's just
stubbornness
something
and
about
principle.
resale.
That principle is way too
that's all
strong.
principle. For real. That's all
It's
stubbornness.
That shit is through the roof. Like if you were the only 13 in the world, I'd be like, damn, good idea. Hold out. They're really not gonna. They're gonna be upset right now. You are not the only third. They could give two shits
I'm not.
if Dave is the guy who's like, let me get that 13. They don't give a. They're
Nope.
just like, all right, next person, keep it moving. Now, if collectively, as a basis for this entire conversation, collectively, as people who collect sneakers and really drive the force that is what sneakers are right now, as far as people needing to post and repost and share and blog and whatnot, talk about shoes that are coming out because of people like these four here, or us four here, because we actually care about what it is. We want to read the article. Other people just look and go, okay, cool. Until someone in this room or someone that they're cool with who actually likes the shoe goes, yo, you didn't see them shoes? It's fire. Like, wait, what? Oh, I need those. Right. And that's how it happens.
Absolutely.
Now, as we as a group were to be like, you know what? Fuck you guys. I'm not buying shit from the store's perspective. And now the people who are reselling the shoe can't get rid of the shoe. The people who are selling the shoe won't be able to sell the shoe, obviously, as a retail location. And that's really creating some kind of wedge in the system. Otherwise, it's just going to continue to go. And as far as, sorry to drop the bomb, as far as the website shit goes, until people stop buying the way that we've been buying from resellers and from retailers on that level, it's never going to change. It's never going to be any different. They're never going to, it would be so easy to make a personalized system for retailers with their clientele. And as far as like people being like, oh, well, you can't correlate sales to raffles and what, they should. Why not? I buy things from you. I spend my money with you. Why should I take any kind of penalty for being the person who spends money with you because other people want to buy the shoe as well? Then you should have been buying stuff from them periodically from time to time. There's nothing wrong with that. And at this point, if we're not going to worry about bots, then make a dedicated server for people who are actually clients and customers. And that's how you knock all that shit out. Fuck the CAPTCHA. Have real-time responses. I'll wait 24 hours to get an email back from you and answer a few questions, and then you can get back to me. You got customer service for that. Who gives a shit? When they do things like that, then I'll think they really give a fuck. Otherwise, it's whatever.
You're absolutely right. They're not going to change. They're not going to change. Like it's always been us having to adapt, and that's the only, you either accept it or get left behind. You know what I'm saying? So you have to adapt and figure out your way. I mean, nothing has changed as far as sneakers goes except for how people buy them. My
gotten
hustle's been
worse.
exactly the same. You know what I'm saying? My hustle's been exactly the same. I've never changed it. I meet people, I do my shit. You know what I'm saying? If you were leaving it up to bots and me, I'd be done for. You know what I'm saying? But you have to adapt in order to make sure that you have to stay one step ahead of the game if you really want to participate in it, which is sad to say. But at this point, most of us probably already know how.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At least in this core group of people who were talking. But as far as things changing, like Resell's there and no one's changing anything because it doesn't cost them anything to just let them do their thing. It costs us. So the only way it's ever going to change is if we find our way to decrease everyone's profits, which isn't happening.
Yeah, I mean, I think, there's like a lot of stuff that I feel like I've had to let go as a sneaker person, like, and so, my buying habits have definitely changed. And like, I don't like James, like you said, you are the same, like you still have the same mentality, you just adapted. Like for me, it's different. I've adapted my buying style.
Sure.
Like I only think about things that, like I said, I'm never gonna see again, or I feel like I'm never gonna see again. And so like for me, like that's a big, that's the only driver. Like it's just, I think we all have our own sort of like levels of connections to get certain things. And for me,
Right.
pulling those levers only matters if it's something that I feel like I really, really need. Otherwise, I'm trying not to play the game. Like I really, like it's frustrating to me. Like, and I think I made an exception. Like last year, I bought one thing at Resell. It was like $10 over retail, right? So like it was, I had the first Ronnie Gelite 3 release for the 30th anniversary. I bought a pair that was 200, so it was like, $10 over retail. So like that was like the farthest I would go. And for me, that was like, oh, that's shipping and taxes normally,
Right.
But like it's been really hard to sort of justify stuff that doesn't make me feel special after a week or after 2 weeks. And there's a lot of stuff that, I know if I got in hand, like those Todd Snyders, I'd probably get them in hand and go, man, this is like a great shoe. Cause like, I feel like that's how I would feel. But at the same time, $600? Nah, no way.
No, absolutely not. And like, I'm not saying that you have to pay resale. Like I'm still the guy who I will negotiate down to the last $1. As long, if you want $650 and if it's going to be $650 and I want the shoe so bad, I'm going to fight for $649. I don't give a damn if it's that $1. You know what I mean? Like I just want to feel that I got the best I can. So I don't ever just give in and be like, well, if the price is this, like I'm going to try to get it for lower. Of course, that's the game. But, and because of that, I have passed on a lot of stuff because I'm trying not to. I have enough stuff to not have to worry about a lot of the stuff that's dropping. But you're right, there are certain pairs that dropped, and I'm like, damn, I'm not going to see this shoe for a long time. I need to have it. I want to have this shoe. You know what I mean? The Kennedys, when those dropped, I was like, they're back. What? And I took an L again on both. I still don't own them. You know what I mean? And I still haven't paid. And I still don't know. But when those dropped, I was like, okay. And you know what I mean? I thought that shoe would never come back. So when it came back, it was like, do it, get it, do it. But I hit the same problem. Like I couldn't get them, and I couldn't get them for a price that I wanted. So I won't always pay resale. I'll pay more than the money that's being asked for, like that. And that's always been sneakers for me. It's hunting for them, but hunting for a price that I can justify as decent. So if somebody wants $2,000 for it, 2,000's out, but I'm willing to pay 1,500. So I'll chase that. You know what I mean? And I'm willing to do that. And at least I'll feel better about paying a price that I'm comfortable paying, as opposed to just giving you $2,000 because you say so.
Yeah, there's a shoe that I've been hunting for that. I mean, it came out last year. Like, I should have just bought it last year. They didn't sell out anywhere. And it's the Black Cat Jordan 4. It's my favorite Jordan of all time. I don't know why I did. I don't know. It's my favorite Jordan of all time. I had them in 2006 when I was 15. I don't know why I didn't buy it, but that's beside the point. There is a site that has a worn pair that has an option for your offer. Like, oh, send your offer. But like you do it, and then it's like, no, but we'll offer you $10 off the asking price. And it's like, okay, you're not trying to negotiate now. Like, the shoe is X amount. You're literally going to offer me $10.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not going to say what site it is. I shop there a lot, actually. I don't know. Maybe that was like a little tangent, but like that gets to me. I'm usually, I guess I'm different from you, James, where it's like, oh, you have the shoe for $250. I'm gonna offer you $200, and the guy's like, nah, can you do $215? No. And I leave, and I'm just like, nope, I'm not doing it. So I'm like, I guess I'm the opposite in that way, where I won't pay $1 over what I want to pay.
Right. No, and I think that's where I'm at. Like, I have a certain amount that I'm willing to pay. So if you say $250 and I say I got $200 for it, and you hit me with $210, I'm like, no. If you say $201, then maybe, you know what I'm saying? I'll because at least I'll feel better about it. But my
$201, I'm getting in my car and driving away,
and I'm out. Hey,
yeah.
I mean,
done.
Hey, I love the principles. You know what I'm saying? Stay with it. Stay hard with it. But hey, I don't know. I did the same thing with the Black Hats. I passed on them, and I don't really know why I did. I think I do. It's because I ended up I got the Olivia Kims like a month and a half before that, with the Nike Air on the back, and they were so similar. Yeah. And I was like, and I had the Black Hats. Like, I had them offered to me. I had them in hand. I'm like, but I have the exact same shoe, kinda. Mm-hmm. But then they're not. So I mean, I passed on them. So, but I do regret not getting it. But I'm like, I have the other one, but this one's shiny and the other one's matte. Mm-hmm. That was my tangent. You just made me think about that.
No, I do that. I've done that with a few different pairs. I think I did that with, like, I always do it with Jordan 1s. And like Jordan 1s, like, I feel like I'm so afraid of getting burned with them on like resale, because resale always hits like this weird, like they'll go for like 170 and then they'll be 200 or 210. And I'm like, nah, but I can wait and it might hit retail, right? Like I did that with like Pine Greens, where like I sat, like I waited, and then they hit retail and I was like, boom, all right, got it. Like, I think there's a lot of pairs that will hit that mark and then just like skyrocket, man. And it's like, and before you know it, like, you're 6 months down the line and you're like, oh crap, like, why didn't I buy this when it was $200? You know what I mean? And like the Black Hats, amazing shoe, like top 5 for me. And I just passed on the same thing. And then I really don't wear Jordans like that, but there are a few that like are really up there for me. Bred 11s, was like the sneaker that brought me back into the sneaker game in 2012. And like, I didn't get them then. And like I just wasn't prepared. Like, I just was like, saw that they were re-releasing and I wasn't really back into sneakers. I had just finished college and everything. And then like they restocked and I missed, and it was like this whole thing. And then that like made me go crazy. And I was like, all right, we back. Let's go. Like, you know what I mean? And so like it was the rabbit hole. And then they came back out, what was it, 2016 or 2017? And I had a chance, and then I missed on sneakers, and then
you didn't do it again.
And then I was like, I'm not paying resale. Like, they make 1 million pairs of these. Why am I paying resale? You know what I mean? Like, and then now they're like $500, $600. And I'm like, what? This is crazy. And this kind of brings me to the other point, which, Ricco, I know, like, I tagged you in that thing on Twitter with like Russ Bankston, where he was talking about like, there's no reason why a Bred or a Chicago Jordan 1 should be $1,200. There's no reason why that shoe shouldn't be readily available. And so I like, I understand it's an iconic shoe for Jordan Brand. It's an iconic shoe for Nike. But at the same time, like, we're at a point now where resale is crazy. There are some staple shoes that shouldn't be $1,200. Like, I wanted, so I owned the 2012 Chicago one, which was crappy pair. You know, it had like the Air Jordan, the Jumpman on the tongue. You know, horrible quality. That was probably their last horrible quality Jordan one, and I had it for forever. Never, you know, I wore it a couple times, but like, when they decided they were going to re-release the Chicago ones, I sold my pair and then went for those, and then, you know, I couldn't get a pair, and that shoe sat around like 350, and I was like, no way I'm paying 350. And of course, like, you know, 350 now seems like, word, that's a deal, you know what I mean? But then Last Dance happened, and that shoe was $1,200 overnight. Crazy. Like, they need to be like, the four staples of the Jordan one, to me, like the Bread one, the Chicago, the Shadow, and then I'd say the Royal. Like, those four should be on a rotation, like a 4-month rotation, like a quarterly rotation. We should get a release every year, and they should just be available at retail.
It should be an Air Force One. It should be an Air Force One. It should just
a white
be
Air Force One, like a white Air Force One. Yeah.
So I did see a pair of Chicago ones in my size, the 2015 one. Luke Kang put it up for $750, and I really thought about it. And I hit up
Chicago ones.
I know. And I hit up a buddy of mine who's like a real like Jordan 1 connoisseur. I'm like, fam, should I do it? He's like, if you don't, I will. Like, you absolutely should buy those now. And I was like, $750. Yeah. And then, like you said, the Last Dance happened, and it's a $3,500 shoe. And now here I am. No Chicago one. They should always, you know, they should always be available. They should be an Air Force One. It should just be, it should always be in stores. You should always be able to go and buy one.
I don't know why. I don't have a good reason to disagree, but I feel like I need to disagree. Like, I think that shoe is too iconic. It's too there to be played out. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily want that shoe to be a white Air Force One or a shell toe, a shoe that sorority girls are going to be wearing. You know what I'm saying? In everywhere in the next 5 years, all over the place. Like, those aren't shoes that I think I want the masses wearing, because I think that shoe's special. I think it's dope. It kicked off a lot of what I enjoy. So to see Becky from down the block on her way to Beta Theta Pi's formal, and they're all wearing the same Air Force One that they were able to pick up, or Air Jordan 1 that they picked up at, you know, finish line, and I don't know. I don't want to be in that same category. And I know that's not a good enough reason, and I'm just kind of sounding like a hater right now. And even though I just don't know. I don't think I want that shoe readily available. Now, I'm not saying that I don't want it to come back often, but I don't need to see every time I walk into Finish Line or Foot Locker, just seeing it sitting on the shelf. I think the shoe deserves better because it did all this.
I think that's the key, though. I think that's the key, is that they cycle out enough OG Jordan 1s that, like, if you didn't get the last one, you should be able to get this one, whether it's a Bread, whether it's a Black Toe, whether it's a Chicago, whether it's whatever kind of bullshit colorway they decide to come up with, and then they cycle back to an OG colorway. If they continue to do that, at some point, you'll be able to obtain them. I mean, now that you got trophy rooms, you're not going to see Chicago's for a while, but at some point, you're going to see them again. You might be 5 years from now. It might be 4 years. Who knows? But at some point, they'll pop up again. Maybe you'll be a little bit more savvy, and you'll make sure you get 2 pairs. It is what it is. Like, it happened in 2015. In 2015, people were like, oh, Chicago's, oh, they sold out. Cool. And who knew the price was going to be this high? And who knows if they drop and they do them again? Like, it's just one of those things that, like, I don't think anything should ever be readily available. Because, like, look at Supreme. They're doing Air Force Ones readily available, but they keep selling out. So what the fuck is the point? Like, rather just, listen, drop the shit and end it. I don't want to see it for another 5 years because I don't want to be pissed off every time there's a release.
I'm okay seeing it. Like, I don't like Jordan 11s. They're on a rotation. I mean, sure, they'll throw in this conky weird colorway every once in a while, but let's be honest. You know, every 4 to 5 years, we're gonna see the Cool Gray, the Space Jam, the Breads. You know what I'm saying? Those shoes are going to keep coming back around. And you know, the Legend Blues, Columbias, whatever you want to call them, like those keep coming back around. Even though you're getting, you know, the 7210s or the red joints here and there in between them. They're going to come back around, you know, and there's always that this year's the Cool Gray year, this year's the Bread year. Yep. I don't mind that. Like, I'm cool with that because it gives me time to rock the shoe. Not everybody has them. It gives you another opportunity to get them. But to see them on the shelf, like if they just continually roll them out like a random pair of Air Max 90s, that would just frustrate me. I wouldn't like that.
I mean, I guess
I would hate that.
I mean, I guess I'm not thinking about them as like, I want them to be back to the point where they're everywhere and that everyone has them. I'm thinking to the point where resell has dropped to them being reasonably, you know, priced, right? So like,
isn't that the same thing?
Not necessarily. I mean, I'll put it this way, right? So like gray 992. Apparently, like you see them a lot, but at the same time, nobody can get them. But I got a pair for retail. I'm
wearing a pair right now.
What?
I'm wearing a pair right now. They're my beaters.
Exactly. So like if you look on StockX or something, they're like 250. Like they're not too expensive, but they're at the same time, like if you don't know, you can't get a pair. You can't get a pair at retail. So like that's the way Chicago ones should be. Like they shouldn't be sitting on the wall in a Foot Locker. But I should be able to get a pair without having to go spend $1,200 or spend $400. You know,
like, I think it took a cataclysmic event. I think it took a big event to get them to that point. Because if I remember correctly, before the Last Dance, Chicago's were like between $300 and $400, which isn't outrageous for that shoe. But it took an event to blast them off and get them off the ground. I don't think that happens every time. So I think if the Chicago's dropped again, I don't think they'd fly to 800 in the first month. I think they'd hover because they've just been out. I don't think that's
when thing. I saw the Chicago's for 750. The Last Dance wasn't a thought. This was like maybe 3-ish years ago. Right. So I mean, it was a steady increase, and then the Last Dance happened and everything exploded. But I mean, I guess if I have to choose either this world that we currently are in with OG Jordan 1 colorways and a world that you described, James, fam, I want to see Chicago's, I want to see Royals, I want to see Breads, I want to see Shadows on the foot of every sorority girl from here to Syracuse. All right, like I would rather that world than this one where Chicago won.
But you wouldn't wear those shoes if that was happening. You wouldn't wear them. When's the last time you put on shell toes?
Last week. I have shell toes.
For real?
Blue and orange stripes, but I do wear them.
Yeah, I'm saying. But if we're talking about white, standard white Air Force Ones, white, you know what I'm saying? Shoes they said, because what I don't want the shoes to become is the white Ultra Boost. A shoe that your local dad rocks to the store every day, and you don't want to wear that because you associate it with different things. You know what I'm saying? It's not that if everybody who wants them should be able to get them, but you got to work to get them. But that's neither here nor there. That's not the point of this. But I don't want it to become as a shoe that I don't care about because there's nothing to them anymore, and everybody can have it. It's just it's redundant. It's already that to a degree. We see it because it's retroed often, but to see it all the time, I'm like, I'm not wearing that shit. Like breaking out a pair of Chicago ones is a thing for me. Like hell yeah, I'm stepping out to do some shit. I don't want to step out and walk out and do the same shit. And Larry across the street is mowing his yard, being like, "Oh, I picked these up for $120 on sale last week, James." Like no, thank you, Larry and Bob. You can get the fuck out too. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not what I want. Like I want people who want them to have them, but I want people. But like you, me, and people who care about, like, who are in this thing, I want that to happen. But I don't need the people that don't care, don't understand, and don't know what's going on to walk in and be like, I got him. Look at this cool shoe. This is a Nike? This is great. No thanks.
I'm on the opposite. I need Gerald at the cookout and the kiss the cook apron with his
No, hell no.
beat up bread ones on and need it.
But that happens. That happens already. Gerald has them because Gerald's from the streets. You know what I'm saying? He's got it. But I don't want to walk in. I don't want to walk in to see Lori, my accountant, and she's like, "Hey, check these out. I walk in the mall in my Air Jordan 1s on the weekends because it's great because I got them for nothing." You know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm good off that.
I mean, does that really matter if you love the shoe?
I think it would ruin a bit of the luster. Like I love the fact that I have a shoe that I know that isn't easy to obtain. Like sometimes you have to work. Fuck, getting a sneakers W feels like you just want to fight. You know what I'm saying?
Put my fucking light on for this because this is wild right now. This whole conversation.
Yeah, no,
so you have
insane.
a very elitist attitude about sneakers right now. That's fucking crazy. They're just shoes.
But I'm trying not to sound elitist.
This is worse than the people driving around me. This is insane. This is insane.
No,
right now.
Look, it's not that I don't think everybody should have a pair. I just don't. I don't want the excitement that comes with that shoe to fall apart. Like getting a shoe, like the first time when I was able to when I got my bread, when I got my rolls, like it was exciting. I don't want it to be. I walked in the store. Here we go. I got them. I don't care about them. I don't respect it anymore. And it's just a beat shoe that you don't give a fuck about.
But you do. But you do. You care about the shoe. You love the shoe. It means something to you. What does it matter what it means to everyone else?
But will it matter? You know what I'm saying? If I knew that it wouldn't matter.
That's a question for you, not me.
But what it's
still
to you,
buy
like if you
old
saw
schools, and I got them for $23
like
shipped. Like
hell yeah.
I still feel special. I'm like, fam, rocking the old schools today. Like
that's just opening a brand new shoe.
Like
you know, yeah, but you're talking about it from your perspective. I'm talking about people who don't. It doesn't matter to anybody. But, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. The shoe game itself, or rocking, like you open up a brand new pair of Vans and you say you're like, dope, hell yeah, I remember this shoe. There's some nostalgia there. And then my mom got the shoes. She was like, fuck it, I got these at Ross. I don't care. Let's go.
Lights coming back.
So
on.
It's more of
lights back. Lights back, spotlight.
So my question is this. So what if the people who normally wouldn't know shit, your accountant, Mary Jo, Lou, Sue, whoever fuck her name is, gets the shoe and you're like, do you know what you're wearing right now? And you educate this lady and she's like, wow, that's really cool. You would never tell her that fucking story if she wasn't wearing the shoe. So now you've just created a new tradition with someone else who didn't know shit about the shoe. It might become special to them. So to say it's whack if everybody's wearing a shoe that you covet so well, that's the whole point. You can take your experience with that shoe and share it with other people now that they're wearing it too. But most people,
you can absolutely, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying it like right now. I'm saying if once you move past that point where that happens anymore, like let's say they release a shoe every, like it's regular. You see it everywhere. It's constantly happening. Lori's on her 8th pair. She no longer gives a shit that these are Jordan 1s that Michael Jordan wore, or that the 3s that he jumped from across the street from to score his first fucking basket. Like it's no longer relevant because the shoe is so, oh, that's cool. Like that's when it no longer becomes, it doesn't matter anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because it has it doesn't connect with them because it's just a shoe that they can find any time of day, anywhere at any time. Like that's when it loses it.
So if Lori's on number 8,
lights back on
of a Jordan 1, Chicago. I mean, outside of us, most people do not burn through a pair of shoes that quickly. Like we don't burn through shoes that quickly, and especially the price point's not changing. It's still $170. Most people will throw a stone. Won't even purchase a shoe that's $170, let alone use it as a beater. It would be a special shoe regardless. Like when you buy your kid a pair of shoes that's $140, you're like, well, maybe not you, but like certain people that spend that kind of money on shoes that don't normally do that take pride in it already. So I think you're taking a lot of credit away from people. I think that they would be able to handle the responsibility of wearing an Air Jordan 1 high in the Chicago colorway, whether it's to a cookout, they take them home and clean them, knowing that they're Chicago, and even if they don't, they wear them as fucking beaters. Who gives a fuck?
Right, absolutely. No one gives a shit.
You do.
Like, when we started the conversation, I even said, I am Air Jordan 1 Gestapo. Holler at me. You know what I'm saying? Send me to Becky who needs to get them removed. I'll take them.
Take them off.
No,
take them off.
No, and I said this from the beginning of this part of the conversation. It's not something that I'm like. I shouldn't even be bothered by it. I just felt like I should say that. Like, I don't know. For me, I don't want the shoe. I don't want these shoes to be constant. You know what I mean? I don't want them like if they're gone and you're like, hey, do you have these in a size 9? They're like, no, but tomorrow we're getting a whole new shipment and a whole new shipment, a whole new thing. Like, I don't think I would enjoy
I'll
that.
see you tomorrow. I will
but
be there with
I'll see you
bells on.
tomorrow. Which is crazy because this was something, you know what I'm saying? Like when I first started doing shoes, that's how I could still pick up shoes 2 weeks later. I'm an obnoxious snob. Leave me alone. I am the shoe snob now.
The funny thing
We went from
is,
this is my 911 to Air Jordan 1 Gestapo. This has been a trip.
And Becky and Lori.
the
And
funny
also
thing,
to be fair, I agree with you. Like just let you know, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I don't think anybody who doesn't give a shit about shoes like that should be wearing them. So just throwing it out
Absolutely. Hey, I'm here for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for this. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. Like
But-
you say should they not have it? I say no.
but the funny thing is, right? Like, and so like we're like, hey, I want something that nobody else has, and that's not widely available. But the irony is that we also chase things that sort of are that, right? Like dunks right now are a thing because everyone has them, or because everyone assumes that everyone else has them and wants to pursue them too. Like, I know, James, you've been into dunks for forever. Like me, I'm meh on dunks, you know, like I see one every once in a while and I'm like, that's dope. Like I would rock that. And like I've had a couple and I have a few. And I think Mike, I think you have said this too. Like they're just not like a shoe that like I put on my foot most of the time and go, ooh, this is dope. Like it's weird. It's a weird thing, but like you get excited because you see other people wearing it and you're like, this is kind of dope. Like I could pull off a dope fit with that, right? And then so seeing other people in something does do something that makes you want it more, right? Like it's not like seeing no one in it makes you want it more. So like there's like a certain
I think there's to a
contradiction in that.
degree, you know what I'm saying? Only to a certain degree. Because I don't look at somebody wearing Ultra Boost anymore and being like, oh, I need to have that now. You know what I'm saying? Like like or Yeezys. Like I look at Yeezys now and I'm like, I don't want that. Like I definitely don't want that. Like so I think there's certain levels I think to a certain point, once you dilute something to a certain point, it's no longer interesting or you share that connection with it anymore. Or at least personally, I don't. You know what I mean? But I also think a lot of it has to do like that we have our own counter culture in sneakers. Like, you know what I mean? Nikes were the shit. Great, you know, Jordans were great. You know what? No, I don't wear Jordans no more. I only wear Adidas. And then Adidas, I don't wear Adidas. I wear only New Balance. And I don't wear only New Balance. I wear Dunks. I think it just revolves. It's like fashion. It just goes back around. It's whoever all the cool kids are wearing Jordans. Well, then I'm wearing Diodoras. Oh, well, everybody got on Diodora. Well, I'm back on New Balance. And I think it literally we just jump back and forth. And I think there's a whole group of people who that's how they work. They don't want to wear what's popping right now. They wear what's next. You know what I mean? Or they jump on that vibe and that they jump on that train. Like we're gonna see the foam posit become the next type thing, and then you're gonna see the counter culture of the foam posits after that.
You better watch your mouth.
Someone's gonna be like, right? hey, easy.
You better watch your mouth, sir.
Everyone is saying it.
Oh,
Right?
That's the one. That's the one that everyone's like, oh, they're coming back.
please don't.
Yeah, they're coming.
I think your Yeezy comment is actually exactly what Machado was talking about when he said, I want to see Jordan 1s on everyone's feet, because people want to see Yeezys on everyone's feet. And now look at Yeezys.
Yeah, no, I don't want that.
Nobody gets, so like, I mean, I still see a pair once in a while and I like them, but like I always try to explain to people that like we're few and far between. Like, though we love shoes and though we love to wear shoes, like at the end of the day, not everybody's built like that. And a lot of people will only wear what people show them or tell them to wear. And that's the larger majority of people. So like you said, like that revolving door, like when Nike was on their, I don't know if it was a hiatus or whatever they were doing in 2014, 13 through like 16, where like everybody's, all the other brands were ripping up like Diodora, Saucony, Asics, New Balance. All those brands were popping at the same time because Nike wasn't doing shit, and so was Adidas. And then Nike was like, "Oh, you guys think you're good at this? All right, cool. Say less." And then they were like, "Oh, let's just give everybody shit." Dunks came back, SBs came back, Jordan, 2016, Jordans came. It was wild. It was wild, disrespectful, like what Nike did to start shifting the dynamic. It was out of control. And like I was like, oh, they're not going to let up. And then at some point, they're going to have to. And you can see all of their innovative stuff that they're doing right now, like double layered air bubbles. I forget the name of it. A step-in shoe that snaps it. Nobody gives a fuck. I don't think those innovations are dope. I don't like the Air Max 2090. I thought was bullshit. A lot of things that they're doing are stupid. The Vapor Max is a big seller in the GR community, but like as far as the people who drive markets for them, which are, again, I will say people like this little podcast, they're not into it. I want to see the OG colorway. I want to see an orange, a green, a leather Air Max 1. I want to see all of those things. And when they do that, that shit sells out. I'm not seeing Vapor Max Triple Black sell out on a daily basis. They have them readily. I'm not seeing 2090s. 2090s are in fucking warehouses. And if Nike isn't careful, somebody's going to be able to step in again and be like, okay, we've got something better. 4D wasn't it. Right. It was too soon. It was too much of the same silhouette. So Adidas is fucked. Plus, Adidas doesn't really know how to run their own business. They're just throwing money into marketing.
Dead ass, bro.
It's just marketing dollars with Adidas. I'm like, yo, chill the fuck out and make some dope shit. I understand. What the fuck? Nobody cares about breaking Beyonce's shoe out of an ice box. Nobody cares.
Archive. You guys have an archive.
I felt the type of way about that.
No.
It's true.
It's definitely a gimmick with Adidas. Like we could jump on a real quick Adidas rant because I feel like their silhouette has been the same for 5 years. Like you guys have an archive. Like honestly, the only thing that's been really, really dope is what's the forum that they brought back. Like that's the only interesting thing that they've done in the past 5 years since the whole boost wave. Like to me, like I thought this I'm like, oh, this is dope. Like this is cool. And like, yeah, like Icebox for an Adidas, really? Like, are you kidding me? No.
I mean, Dave, you know how I feel about Adidas. I mean, that is the most ass backwards, goofy ass brand I've ever. I mean, I just don't understand. I mean, they went from being, sneaker of the year with the Ultra Boost in 2013, and then they were like, check it out, here's the Ultra Boost 2.0. I'm like, okay, what's the difference? And then the 3.0 and a 4.0, and I'm like, it's the same goddamn shoe. Like, this is you talking about disrespect?
The 4D is the same shoe.
Exactly, same thing. They just literally like we sandwich together. I'm like, what?
It's just more money.
What's happening?
It's more money and more exclusive.
But then it's not because it doesn't sell at retail, so they basically get discounted to the price of a regular Ultra Boost.
Yeah, I mean,
I will say Reebok has been pretty innovative. I will say that I've been buying Reebok, but a lot of their silhouettes I like. I like some of the newer shit. I like their inverted stuff. I like the new take on the classic leather and the material. Like I like all of that stuff. I'm not buying it, but I'm paying attention to it. And if they continue, maybe I will. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But like, fucking Adidas is ridiculous. I don't understand where like nobody in their marketing team is like, okay, Jerry Lorenzo's here, cool, that's great, all right, yay. But you're not going to see anything for 2 years. So what's the point? Wasn't like you had him for a year and you're like, guess what, guys? He's been with us. Here's a shoe. It was like, yeah, we got him. And now the hype builds. And if he doesn't present something that's not ground or earth shattering, guess what? It was all for naught, and he got the bag. Oh well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely right. Absolutely.
Sean Witherspoon, same thing. Like they brought him on board. Like, okay, cool. Now I get to trip all over a thread hanging off my sneaker. Thanks, dick.
Bro, like, you. Oh my God, I've got off on that shoe and that. Oh man, you know what?
I don't understand. I don't get it.
Fuck that.
I'm like,
that shoe is so garbage.
Well, we must be dumb because I don't know. People, and it's reselling. It's fucking reselling. I'm like, who's buying this? Who?
Man, I don't know.
Go to his house to slap he or she or them or we in the face. I'm like, I don't understand. Like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Well, just wait till he does a Reebok collaboration because I mean he's on the train.
Jonah Hill's on the Adidas train too.
Yeah, but like these guys are just all they're doing is making super luxe versions of shoes we've seen 300 times already. Steve McQueen's shoe is better than a shell toe, and it's $700. Like, wait a minute, you make a shell toe and it's $700, and I like it more than the shell toe. How about that? I'm not gonna buy it, but I'm just saying, like, this shit has been worked to death. And the shitty part about Adidas' silhouettes is that when they retro, they're very European. European market loves their retro. U.S. market hates their retro. So like they do great overseas, but here it's like, it's not enough. we've got Nike. So like you got to come with something better than that. And Nike knows that they've got us by the balls. Their collaborators are some of the best artists, athletes in the world, if not the best athletes, artists in the world. So like, what are you gonna do? What can you possibly do? People posted a picture of a Travis Scott fragment. Okay, granted, it's fire. But what is it? It's the same fucking swoosh on a fragment. Like, it's nothing new. It's nothing different. It's the two things together. And we're all like, oh God, I fucking need it. Like,
They got us. Yep.
have you done that for an Adidas lately? I haven't done that for an Adidas where I was like, 4D, I'm going. Like, no, it's not happening.
No.
I did that for Suns,
No.
but I guess that's more of a Yeezy thing than an Adidas thing.
I mean, even that is people don't
I
even
love
know
that
what
shoe. I know.
That,
I know.
that shoe.
I know, James.
Oh.
I know. I love it. What are you
Wait,
gonna do?
what shoe are you talking about?
The Sun
The 700.
Yeezy 700 and the Wave Runner.
Uh,
That's fine.
I mean,
I'm not
I kept my Wave
I'll be with
Runner. I
myself
love
on that.
the first Wave Runner. I love. I don't care about all
Yeah.
the other stuff that's going on. The first one, fire colorway, super comfortable. I will give it that. The shoe is very comfortable. If you're gonna wear it and you want to wear a shoe all the time,
All
great.
day.
I hated that thing. I had to wear it for a week straight. That thing got hot. It hurts. It's bulky. I mean, it's not even good bulky. I fucking can't stand that. It was awful. I did
what
not
were you
enjoy
doing?
that shoe.
Were you coal mining? What were you doing?
Man, I'm a TV producer. I stand on set and just watch my cameras rolling and call action. I don't even do anything crazy. And I'm like, why are my feet? And granted, I'm in Texas, but I'm in an air-conditioned set all day. So I'm looking. I'm like, why are my feet on fire? Like, what's going on
Have you
here?
been to a podiatrist? Maybe it was your feet because the shoe is super
Nah, my feet are great. My feet are taken care of, bro. That's not even the issue.
It could have been all of the Nikes you've been wearing. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I had an
Your foot
allergic
felt-
reaction to stepping into some bullshit. You know what I mean? I don't know.
your foot was in such a good place that it didn't know what to do with itself. It was like, what is going on? Put me
Oh,
back.
no. So it started sweating? It got
My
hot.
feet have never known this comfort.
Well, then I'm out. I'm out.
That shoe is garbage. I did not enjoy that shoe. Trash. It's booty. I'd punt that thing in Adidas for at least another 3 years.
Wait, do you find? I'm putting the light back on. Do you find Jordan 1s?
It's getting real. Absolutely not. Fuck no.
So
Most of the shoes I wear are absolutely uncomfortable.
So what do you find comfortable? Just like pillows around your feet? Like what do you find comfortable?
I wear if I'm working or I'm really going to be doing something that I need to I'll wear a lot of
Tell me Crocs.
Ultra Boost
Say Crocs.
or
I want to hear you say Crocs.
fuck no. No Crocs. No Crocs yet. Maybe I'll try them. Ultra Boost and Reacts, the React material. You know what I mean? Like I'll wear stuff with that has that, but that's
Okay.
I'm not trying to flex. That's literally me at work trying to not let my feet hurt.
I mean, that's definitely not a flex. I mean, I definitely agree that Ultra Boost are very comfortable. I mean,
Very.
super light, ultra comfortable. I also think New Balance is probably the most comfortable sneaker on the market. Not gonna lie. I think it's one of those shoes where it's like, it doesn't matter what model you put on, aside from 574, maybe, that is always going to be comfortable.
Yeah.
574s are made for cardboard enthusiasts. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Lights
yes,
off.
and 700s are trash. I'm with that.
Well, nobody here said that but you, but it's okay.
I'm taking that. Taking my own advice here.
Gelite 5 needs to come
that.
back. That's the most comfortable shoe.
I agree and disagree.
That's a fact.
I don't like the wear of a Gelite 5. Like after like 12 wears, that midsole looks like you weigh 900 pounds.
Just flat fucking.
Continually creases.
Yeah.
It's like a dirt vacuum. You're like, fuck, I need a toothpick to get this out of here. Yeah. It's not, but like it is super fucking comfortable. I also have a wide foot, so I'm always iffy about that. Because like you can't hide your wide foot in a Gelite 5 at all.
At all. No.
That sock liner is bulking up.
It's unforgiving.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed you had a pair of silver screens behind the right side of your head, Dave. I had to downsize my closet. I'm not happy about it.
Oh no.
I'm not.
What does
pleased.
downsize mean though?
Downsize means like 75 pairs, which is
Yeah,
it's a lot,
I've
but
done that.
it's a lot to think about like when you're doing it. Because I was like, wait, what? You have to not put this out? Wait.
75 pairs on deck, not whole collection of 75 pairs.
Oh no! Like, oh, what are you out of your fucking mind? No, on deck.
Yeah.
I mean, I listen. So like, I gave a lot of stuff away because I got like a lot of promo stuff. So I gave a lot of stuff away to like, nephews, family members, like whoever like was like around, like, oh, you wear a 10, take, hey, you get a shoe, you get a shoe, you get a shoe. Everyone's like, oh my God, so many shoes. I'm like, they're all DS. I don't care. But like when it came down to like the closet itself, I was like, wait a minute, this is rough. I took all my Asics out of my closet. Like my Ronnie collection is stashed.
I gave up my sneaker room is now a little girl's room. All my shoes went into storage. It's terrible.
That's rough, man. You don't have like a place you can hide them, like stash them somewhere,
well,
just to go look at them for a little
while. We decided to have another one, and I'm like, shit, I lost. We got the one room, and then I had to get the other one, and I was like, well, I go hang out at my storage unit a lot.
I mean, just put a fucking couch in there. That's all.
Like Atlanta.
I got a little chair, a little lamp. I read. You know what I mean? I hang out.
Yeah. So I don't have anything else for resell, retail. Anybody have any last thoughts? Want to say anything about retail, resell?
I mean, you guys really want to get like, I don't know. I think that the new dynamic when it comes to sneakers is very resell driven. So it becomes one of those things, like, especially like dealing with a retail store, like I kind of see it, and it's kids just want to buy to flip. And then some things they'll keep because they need a subtle flex. So it's the most expensive thing that's out. But for the most part, people aren't keeping shoes, or kids realistically aren't keeping shoes the way that maybe we keep shoes. And I think I keep that in the back of my mind all the time because I want to judge it. And I want to be like, oh, it's messed up. But also like we're coming out of a year where people didn't make as much money, which, doesn't justify reselling, but it kind of does at the same time. So I'm a little bit more forgiving in 2021 than I was in 2019 about resale. That's where I'll leave that.
Ricco, what's up?
Oh, well, fuck you.
I don't have anything else. I mean, yeah, no, classic me, right? I just feel like we covered. I just feel like we covered a lot of ground. I mean, I think it's really just resellers are always going to be there. It's really up to us if we choose to just go the retail only route, save up, get less pairs, less more coveted pairs, end up having to pay the resale. It's a fact. It's always going to be there. Retailers can, I think, try and fight it, but there isn't. I don't know. I mean, maybe what you said, Mike, could work to where they just have separate, like you have your own tiers, like, hey, you buy stuff from us all the time, so you're going to get the email when this comes out. Maybe retailers start going that route. Retailers are also still making money anyway, so we'll have to see what happens in the next, couple of years. It's so interesting to see, like, especially like from 7-8 years ago, where 300 is like seemed like an obscene amount of money for shoes. Yeah. Now every other shoe is $1,000. It'll be interesting to see if that bubble ever pops to where you're sitting on all these shoes, no one's going to pay $1,000 for them, and now y'all are stuck with them. Like we'll have to see what happens. It'll be interesting for sure.
I feel like the new dynamic in reselling is the same as the old. I don't think it's much of, we've already covered. It's not going anywhere, and I think it's becoming so prominent. It's just going to be a part of it. And I mean, until it's a lot of the, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, from the sneaker distributor side. They're not going to adapt or change anything to make life easier for us until it starts costing them dollars, and it's not going to. So I think at this point, you have to accept resale. You're not doing anything but letting your stress levels get higher. You know what I'm saying? Your blood boil because we don't get something. And I know that I get just as frustrated, but it's not going to change. So it really, I mean, like I said earlier, you have to adapt or prioritize. Do you really care if you have a shoe like that, or let, maybe we have to get to the point where we don't let every shoe sell out and break, but that's not up to us. That's, you have an entire generation gap of people who are going to go after shoes that they didn't get. Maybe it's the 5th time the Carmine drops, but there were 10 people who didn't get them, and they're going to go after them. So as far as I'm concerned, it's just another part of what we do, and it's just finding our way around it.
I mean, I think that makes sense. Like, my question, I do get a follow-up question to that, which is, I feel like sneakers are right now the big thing. They're like a clout thing, right? So is there a point where that clout goes away and sneakers aren't the thing and people aren't chasing the resale and things are just bricks again?
I think it's much of the same thing. I think it's all generational. I mean, we may not chase it for the clout anymore, but there's another group of kids that are coming up that saw that shoe, that saw the clout, that saw the things that went with it, who are now chasing that shoe. There'll be more. There are going to be more young guys that are going to come out wearing shoes that are going to be under us. That are going to have another group of kids chasing after it. I think it may end for a generation and then start for another one. So I just think it continues. I think a bubble bursts for a certain group and another one begins, and it could continuously keep it happens over and over again. It's part of fashion. It's just going to keep rotating. It's just going to be different groups of people, different type of shoes, but it's just going to be the same thing.
Maybe sports cards is the only thing that I can really think of that's coming up, that now everybody and their mom's buying sports cards and buying into pack breaks and things like that. But I mean, I think the bubble will burst on everybody reselling, but reselling is going to stick around, if at a lesser extent. It's really just whatever can be bought and sold. Now, Pokemon cards, Lego sets are on StockX. Like, everything's on StockX, so people are gonna flip houses soon on StockX. Like, it's just gonna be a thing. Like, kidneys are gonna be for sale left and right on StockX, and so it is what it is. We'll
you guys remember that thing called eBay?
Yep.
eBay was around long before. It'll be around long after.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else for you guys, but I appreciate you all jumping on and chatting with me, making this a thing. I appreciate all your perspective. Glad everybody's warm. Mike, what you got there, huh?
Don't mind your business, buddy.
Little chocolate cookie action.
No, it's dark as hell in here. How do you see that? I can't even see the camera.
No, but for real, thanks again. We'll have to do it again. It's been fun. I got some other topics, so I'll hit you all in the future. Mike, hopefully a lot earlier.
I won't hold my breath. Don't worry. I'll wait till somebody else cancels. Don't worry.
Top of the barrel.
Back up. Buckle up.
Oh shit.
You can tell Dave's a dad.
Yeah. All right, I'm buckled. What the fuck? All right.
Cool, man. Thanks, guys.
All right, boys.
All right, guys.
It's been fun. Appreciate it.
Later, guys.
Thanks.
Have a good one.